When you know what you stand for, you know what to fight for. We know what we stand for, and we stand for the people. And we stand for the dignity of work. And we stand for freedom. We stand for justice. We stand for equality. And so we will fight for all of it. And the bottom line about UAW is that I also know, and I'll say to all the friends watching, look, even if you're not a member of a union, you better thank unions.
Harris there speaking in Michigan after clinching an endorsement from the United Auto Workers Union. America's unions have been throwing their support behind Harris's bid for the White House. Now comes the real test, earning the support of its nearly 400,000 members. President of the United Auto Workers Union, Shawn Fain, joins us now. It's such a pleasure to have you, Mr. Fain. Welcome.
Oh, hey, thanks for having us.
Shawn, good to see you. Thursday at the rally, you told union members that that for those left behind by Donald Trump, Kamala Harris was part of the solution. You say everything is at stake in this election. What do you see as the stakes specifically for union members?
Look, I mean, it's really not just union members, it's working class people, union or not. This is about humanity, honestly. This election, it's about the people, the soul of America. And we know which side Kamala Harris is on, and we know which side Donald Trump is on. That's one thing we do in UAW. We look at facts, not alternative facts or what we call lies, as Donald Trump calls them. We look at facts. We look at these two people in their own actions and their own words. And when you look at that, it's a very telling story. Trump talks about the workers and how much he cares about auto workers. He was president in 2019. There were plants closing, and he did nothing, not one thing, to help alleviate that situation or to try to stop that from happening. Workers were on strike in 2019. Again, he did nothing. He said nothing. You know who was on the picket line in 2019? Kamala Harris was. Not because it was a convenient thing to do, because that's who she is. She believes in workers, and she comes from the working class, and that's the difference in these two candidates. Donald Trump's been handed the world by daddy. Kamala Harris worked for everything she's got. She started out at McDonald's and worked her way up.
Shawn, I'm going to play a little sound from Donald Trump reacting to all of this. And I just want to make it very clear, the name calling in this is Donald Trump. But just take a quick listen. I want to get your response on the other side.
Look, the United Auto Workers, I know them very well. They vote for me. They have a stupid person leading them, but they vote for me. They're going to love Donald Trump more than ever before.
So, again, setting aside the childish name-calling from a 78-year-old grown man, I want to focus on the core of this, because I brought it in the lead-in. You've got a massive group of union workers out there, part of the United Auto Workers family. What is the effort behind getting them? We know they're all not going to vote for, Kamala Harris, or they're all not going to vote for Donald Trump. But what's the strategy to sort of galvanize the union worker behind the idea that there's a big difference between these two presidential candidates when it comes to the working class and working men and women across this country? As you said, not just within unions, but even outside of unions, remembering that he was the one who had a union event with non-union workers.
Yeah. No, it's, look, again, it's going back to facts. And we've got over 1 million members between retired members and active workers. And, we're launching our campaign now. We've been very actively speaking about this, showing these two people. As we tell them every time I speak, it's not my opinion. This isn't party politics. This is these people in their own words and their own actions. And that says enough for anyone. When you show those facts, it's a very clear picture. So, that's one of the things we're doing. We've created some videos we're putting out talking about these facts and where they come from. But, the ultimate thing to me is it just shows, I know this, and I know our members. A huge majority of our members will be supporting Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. They're excited about this, and we see this thing just continue to build, the name calling and stuff, that's just what Trump is. It's how he operates, just like with veterans. He claims to be for military, but he calls, people that made the ultimate sacrifice suckers and losers. He had called John McCain, my heroes don't get captured. And now he's questioning, the service of Tim Walz. I mean, give me a break. I mean, Donald Trump knows nothing about service. Daddy got him out of the military, you know, because of his bone spurs. I mean, this man knows nothing about serving anything but himself. So, you know, it's a very clear picture when you look at that. You
can also layer onto your endorsement the Culinary Workers Union, very powerful in Nevada, going to be critical in that state. I was struck by something you said in your release, in your endorsement. You said we can put a billionaire back in office who stands against everything our union stands for, or we can elect Kamala Harris, who will stand shoulder to shoulder with us in our war on corporate greed. I have noticed that language about corporate greed is beginning to be incorporated in the vice president's remarks on the Trill, right? Gone is sort of this talk about inflation, which is a thing that, if we're honest, revolves around global factors. She can't control inflation the same way that if you talk about corporate greed, she both, in her record as a prosecutor, actually has a record of going after this. And two, I think it provides sort of an answer and a path forward for why a bag of chips costs what it does right now at the grocery store.
Yeah, I mean, look, that's the thing. That's a difference. That's a stark contrast between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. Kamala Harris, Tim Walz, they've struggled. They know struggle. They know what it's like to live paycheck to paycheck because they've been there. Donald Trump knows nothing about what working class people go through. So, you know, Kamala Harris understands working class people in this country have been hurting for decades because the billionaire class has been taking everything and leaving workers behind. And that's the essence of what this is about. You know, we hear about inflation a lot, you know, the last few years, but we don't talk about the cause of that inflation. It wasn't policy driven. It's the fact that the billionaire class and the wealthy do what they do best when we have a pandemic or an emergency or a disaster. They find ways to extract more wealth, and they did it this time in the pandemic through price gouging the consumer, whether it was our gas at the pump, whether it's the price of a gallon of milk, or whether it's the cost of a vehicle. I mean, the auto companies, they jacked up prices on vehicles 30 to 40% in the last 4 years prior to our contract. So when they talk about our wages and our contracts going to drive up the cost of the vehicle, no, that's a lie. They did it without us even having a contract, with our wages staying stagnant. So it's a big lie, and we got to speak truth about inflation and what's behind it. It's corporate greed, and that's what Donald Trump represents. And the greatest testament to that is him bragging about him taking $45 million a month from Elon Musk, and now all of a sudden he cares about electric vehicles. So, you know, with Trump, this country's for sale. With Biden-Harris, America is not for sale.
Shawn Fain, president of the United Automobile Workers Union. Thank you so much, Shawn, for being with us. Hope you'll come back.
Thanks, Shawn.